Welcome back to Politics on France 24, where we are today discussing the red-hot issue of the full Islamic veil, known here as the burqa. So with me on the set today are two members of our parliamentary mission looking into the issue and who's about to make some recommendation. Sandrine Mazetier from the Socialist Party. Hello.
Hello.
Jacques Millard from the ruling UMP party.
Hi.
Also on the set, Tom Hennigan, the religion editor with Reuters.
Hello.
And from Beirut, where she's an associate scholar at the Carnegie Middle East Center, is Amel Boubekeur. Mr. Hennigan, I believe you wanted to come back to the arguments behind a law or a resolution.
Yes, just before the break, Amel made a very good point about the question of double standards, and that this would be seen as double standards by the Muslim community. I think that it's interesting to see. Jacques said we need three elements to deal with this question: resolution, a law, and then dialogue. Dialogue I certainly agree with. A law, I think, is very difficult to make and to be constitutional, in fact. And a resolution, maybe, but I think it should be done in a broad way that you cannot go around with without your face visible. There's a fourth element I think that's important, though. If you want this to actually be effective, and that's anti-discrimination measures, because if it's seen as a discriminatory step, what are the anti-discrimination measures that are being taken? In this society,
Exactly.
they talk about equality, they talk about fraternity, equality, liberty, fraternity, you know. But there is still a lot of discrimination against people with Muslim names. And it's a known fact. It's a known fact.
Tom, you go
and
too
I think
far.
there has to be more flanking measures. If you want to take the one step, you have to take the other steps.
Okay, look at it this way. I can tell you, yesterday I was talking with Falah Armara, who is the minister coming from the left and acting on this question of so-called suburbs, you know. And everyone knows that integration is working. But of course, unfortunately, you have few % of people who are drop out. This is the same thing for those who are born French from, French families and so on. So I won't say there is no discrimination in this country. I would say that, of course, we have social problems, as you have in the United States, as you have in Britain, and so on. So this is true. But you cannot say there is discrimination, certainly not in laws. And I can tell you, if you come to my city, you will see that in the administration, the head of the computer district, or let's say division, is a black man coming from Africa. I have technicians. The head of the markets, process is one who was born in Algeria. So you cannot say a very general assessment like that.
But I do not say there's discrimination in laws, but in practice there is.
Well, in practice, we are not a perfect society. I agree with you.
No society is.
But,
no perfect society.
Let me just bring this back to Ms. Mazetier. Are you the reason why you oppose both a resolution or a law is because you think it will stigmatize Muslims? Is this the reason?
Yes, for the moment.
But many Muslims are said to agree that the burqa is not in the Quran, and therefore are maybe in favor of actually banning it. So, I mean, do you think that being against a resolution and a law is the good strategy?
Nobody asked for a law. Most of Muslim...
According to a poll published today, the majority of the French are in favor of such a law. 57%.
Most of the Muslims say that the veil, full or partial veil, is not
Religious.
Is not an obligation. So they can live as a Muslim. They can practice their religion as they want, but they don't ask a law against the veil. Mm-hmm. No, I wanted to say that because we didn't agree on what full veil mean for us, we can't talk together in a resolution, because this government and this majority always try to separate French people between French people to oppose French people and to separate Muslim and other French. They stigmatize always Muslim French, French Muslim, and we can't speak together. It's impossible. We ask to stop the debate on national identity, and maybe we will speak with the majority
on the burqa,
on equality.
Well, I cannot agree.
The impact of the law.
I'm sorry, Amel. I can't agree with Sandrine, of course, because this is really political football game. Sorry,
That's
in fact, no. I did not participate in the national debate on national feeling on purpose, because I do believe that this is a permanent one, and I am acting as an MP, as someone who is defending the French identity. So I don't need this debate. I agree, but on this question of burqa, I'm sorry to say this is something which hurts deeply the French consciousness of many, many millions of French. So I do believe that you cannot say you are going to stigmatize. I am stigmatized because somebody don't want her that I see her face. I am stigmatized. I am the victim, not the Muslim as such. And if the Catholics will recommend something which is contrary to what I believe as a secular state, I will condemn it. If, because this question of say you are going to stigmatize, so you don't do anything. Because if you are speaking only of religious feeling, then you will go very far, because it doesn't stop at the question of veil. Okay. We have examples today that people don't want to eat with other people because they are eating pork. This is a reality.
Amel Boubekeur, let me just bring you in, and maybe also bring some perspective of how this is viewed maybe in the Arab world. I mean, there's been a big debate on this issue in Egypt also.
Yeah, I mean, on Egypt, you had a debate on the niqab, indeed, but it was very clear that it was first for religious reasons. I mean, the muftis say that it was not something with an Islamic background, and second, it was made clear that the interdiction of the ban concerned public institutions. For example, you could not be a teacher or you could not be a university student, and it was really linked to the nature of the state. I mean, the public institutions could not and should not accept or welcome the niqab. So it was not totally disconnected from migratory issues, security issues, even if Salafism was targeted implicitly in Egypt. But let me comment also on the impact on a possible law or potential resolution in France on these women. I agree with Tom. I mean, you cannot conceive discriminatory measures without thinking a little bit on including measures. And that's also the responsibility of the Republic. I mean, you're going to have, if you compare again with the law in 2004, you had a lot of veiled girls who just quit schools. And that's interesting that a lot of them turned to the niqab, by the way. So it was, to some extent, also counterproductive. So what are they going to do? What are they going to become?
Okay,
and if you need to convince them, and sorry, just a main point, the real asset of all this debate could have been really women empowerment. I mean, the need to bring more women, these women indeed, in the central public sphere, and to empower them in terms of job, in terms of studies and so on, and that has not been discussed at all. And the impact is that you're going to have a lot of women who are going to stay at home, who are going to feel frustrated, or who are going to move to UK or to the Gulf or whatever. And that's indeed the responsibility of the Republic and of MPs and so on, to take into account the future of these women, and to take into account also and to brainstorm around alternative measures to include them and not just exclude them, because at the end of the day they are punished, and the only one who are punished for security interests, worries about the rise of Salafism and so on. And that's not fair at the end of the day.
Okay, let's take this argument back. This is the same argument we heard in 2004 when we passed the law on the question of veil at schools. They will go away and so on. This is wrong. The experience shows that the girls do take out their veil and went to the schools. And this has been a success. So this is a kind of argument which is not acceptable. And I said to Moussaoui,
but nothing has been done for those who have quitted
just
schools.
1 second, you talk, I'm going to answer you. I talked to Moussaoui and they said, do you really believe that the woman will
being
stay,
the head of the
Muslim Council, who is against the burqa on Iraq,
but against the law.
But it is against because he don't want, to take really a decision. In fact, those people don't act. They say we are going to dialogue with them, as Tariq Ramadan said it, but in fact it is useless. It doesn't work. So we need a genuine norm, a rule. And in fact, you do believe that women will stay at home in France like that? This is just, this is a joke. This is a joke. I'm sorry, it did not work. The argument you are just advancing, you are just putting, this is the same argument we heard in 2004, and it was wrong.
Okay, let me just add something
but the matter of empowering women is still an important matter and a crucial one.
I agree. Let me just bring an additional dimension to the debate, which came to the fore last week when the leader of the UMP party, Xavier Bertrand, wondered whether women wearing the burqa could be prevented from obtaining French citizenship. The spokesman for the UMP party, Frédéric Lefebvre, even went a little bit further this week. Let's take a listen to Frédéric Lefebvre.
Pour les étrangers,
for foreigners wearing the burqa, foreign women wearing the burqa, no access to the French nationality. I mean, try explaining me that wearing the burqa is a sign of integration. I think it will be complicated. For French women wearing the burqa, no access to a number of rights, social services, child benefits, and public transportation. When one does not respect his obligations, there should be no access to rights. Rights and obligations mean something in the French Republic.
On n'a pas à avoir accès aux droits. Droits et devoirs dans la République française, ça compte.
Sandrine Mazetier. So there are two issues. One about the access to nationality, but also the other issue for the French woman wearing the burqa. He's suggesting that access to social services should be restricted, if not prevented.
Yes, ridiculous. Why? Because if burqa means a way of defend a social order that separates women and men, we have to condemn firmly this opinion and to characterize as racism or sexism and to forbidden it for everybody, women and men. But it's not that is going to be decided by this majority. In France today, women with or without veil, Muslim, Catholic, or without any religion, have revenue very inferior, about 30% inferior to men's revenue, and everything is okay with that.
No,
everybody.
No.
There is no law. There is no resolution to fight against this inequality.
That's political football.
I can't be neither Pope, neither Rabbin.
This is not my problem.
Not go into there.
This is not my problem.
So, Tom Hennigan.
And that's not a problem. No, it's the issue for us.
You see it as a racist and sexist stance. Tom Hennigan.
Yeah. I think we have to look at the question of inclusion and exclusion here. And the idea that you can exclude French citizens who, at least the family, would be tax-paying members of the society or whatever, from simple rights like taking a bus or getting family benefits, will be knocked down in court.
Right.
And that shows the political aspect of all of this, that somebody is ready to start suggesting these things that will never stand up.
Right. I mean,
I find that really
that's
outrageous.
one of the issues. Claude Guéant, which we heard in the first part of said we need to make sure that this will be constitutional and that this will respect European law.
There is no problem.
Even with those
the European
proposals?
Convention, of course, there is no problem.
There was no problem for the carbon tax.
Well, that's something. There was inequality because some did not pay and so on. No. There is no problem toward the French Constitution and the European Convention. The European Convention decision, the court said that for Turkey, they really admit that the Turkish law will ban a veil at university. So please, this is absolutely rubbish of people who are saying, no, there is an argument, this is just the boutique of no good legalists who don't know the European Convention.
Should foreign women wearing the burqa...
That is the same thing. It should apply to anyone.
But should they be banned from French citizenship?
This is very clear in my view. I cannot accept that a woman go on the street totally veiled. This is unacceptable for me.
But
I was the first one to put a law. I'm sorry, Sandrine. This is very clear. I don't want to make any difference. I don't want to make any difference.
So no French citizenship?
No French citizenship, because the law said it. I mean, the High Court, the Administrative High Court, the Conseil d'État, said it very clearly that American woman could not become French because she has the veil, the complete veil, because she did not accept the French values. So there is no discussion about that. The only discussion is that we need a very general and totally non-discriminatory to say nobody on the street should be veiled except maybe the police when they intervene, or at a masquerade and things like that.
And I think that if that is said, I think that if that is said, and indeed that's important in a framework of a law or whatever would be decided, something should be said as well, and has not been said at all since the beginning of the debate, which is on Islamophobia. If you look at websites, if you look at comments and commentaries...
Then you will prevent xenophobia. I agree with you.
Please let me finish. If you look at what has been said, for example, on comments and so on from the French public opinion, I mean, that's highly Islamophobic. I mean, the target is really not the niqab as such, but it's really Islam. That's really, I mean, the danger of Islam and so on. And that's a debate also that you can, I mean...
Is it the feeling in the region where you live in? Is it how people perceive it there?
I think in the Arab world, people don't understand why there are some specific, what they see as specific measures dedicated to French Muslims. I mean, for them and to them, that's a French problem. Those women, for example, are French, and this is because of a poor comprehension of Islam, and that's then the responsibility of French policymakers to make them more aware, please, to make them more aware of what Islam is, and that Islam is banning or not accepting the niqab.
I will be the first one to combat xenophobia, but you will improve xenophobia by this kind of habit. This is the point.
Okay, last point, Tom Hannigan, and we have to leave it here.
I think this should be debated on security terms and not in terms of women's rights, because which women wear facial veils? Muslim women.
I think we've reached a decision. We are going to organize another debate on the burqa. Thank you very much to all of you here on the set. Thank you, Amel Boubekeur from Beirut. And thank you for watching Politics on France 24.